Oh, look at that. Look at that. So here I have a standard, this is a standard grade halal brisket, beef brisket. And I was pretty happy actually when I went to pick these two briskets out. This is one of the things that I was very happy to see is if you look, the marbling right here in the meat. And I know there's fat. And this is the back side of the brisket. This marbling, I was very happy to see. That tells me that there's marbling inside as well, and that kind of continues in various areas. Even as I flip it on this side, I continue to see that marbling. It's kind of hard to see. And then of course I have that cap, the fat cap, and the triangle right here. So, and the same kind of goes for this one here as well, marbled. And oftentimes you don't get that in the standard brisket. So I'm very much so looking forward to smoking these. It's a bit late here. It's about 11:30. So I'm gonna get these going tonight, then wrap them up in the morning, and we're gonna go low and slow in our Weber 18.5 Smoky Mountain. So there's the brisket out of the bag. We're gonna trim some of this loose stuff right here. So I'll show you what it looks like once I'm done trimming. I'm not gonna trim it anymore. I kind of did a little bit too much here and here and here. It took off any of the spots. There's still plenty of fat. I mean, it's got very nice marbling. I'm pretty happy with that. As I said earlier, and on the back, this is about a 16-pound brisket. Just look at that right there. But I'm really looking forward to this brisket. This is gonna, yeah. So I mean, one thing I was really happy about this brisket is yes, this is the thicker part, but overall it's pretty squared. I didn't have to cut too much off these ends here, and we're gonna marinate it. I was gonna make my own rub, but I've got the Salt Lick dry rub sitting. I'd like to finish it up. Mainly, if you were to make your own rub, equal parts salt, black pepper. I personally like to add some brown sugar, and I'll also add some garlic powder. That's what I personally use, and then the rest is all about the way you smoke it. Sometimes I'll put mustard as like a binder, but this brisket is moist enough. Meat's not dry in any way, shape, or form, so I'm not too worried about getting the rub to stick on there. So once you've done that, pat it down. Go ahead and flip it over. Now I'm going to repeat the same here on this side. You want to make sure, as I'm trying to hold this camera, you want to get those edges nicely done. So, and here you have it. This brisket is marinated, and we're going to move on to the other one. Well, there's a chance of thunderstorms tonight, so I'm trying to bring this into our front door area. It'll offer me some wind protection, but I like to do it by the minion method. So I've got my charcoal in there in like a bit of a dome shape. I'm using my Weber chimney starter upside down. I'm gonna get a little bit of charcoal going. You don't have to fill the entire chimney. I want this to be a nice and slow burn. We're gonna put a couple of hickory blocks for additional smoke and flavor, and I'm gonna go ahead and wash the grates and the bowl. I like to fill the bowl just about all the way full. Leave like 7/8 full. Leave a little bit of room so it doesn't boil over into your fire. Um, you don't want to run out. You don't want to run out of water, and you definitely do not want to create a fire in there because you ran out of water and all that was left was pretty much tallow that caught on fire. So let's get this started. So we're doing the minion method. I have, I'm just gonna drop this in the center. And there's that. Now, we're gonna go ahead and put our hickory chunks. Try and get a good sized chunks if you can. That's a good one. And that pretty much should do the trick right there. Now ideally you don't want to load the smoker up like I have over here. What you want to do is you want to put it on compartment at a time, but this is just the way I ended up doing it. It's pretty late at night, it's almost 1 a.m. here, but just want to get this thing going. So we're gonna go ahead. So I've got 34 pounds of brisket and the bowl of water about 7/8 full. So that way, if it boils, it doesn't spills over. So here we go, 1, 2. You can feel the weight of that. All right. So there's a brisket. Most of the times you want to, not most folks will actually get it up to temperature first and then put the meats in. But tonight, like I said, I'm a little late, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it on. We'll come back and check on it. And now I need to just make sure all of the vents are fully opened. That's fully opened. Now this person is fully opened. So it's been going for about 7.5 hours. Been monitoring the temperature without opening it. So we're right kind of where we want to be. It was about 250s, kind of come down a little bit. So we might be kind of hitting the stall right now. So what we're going to do is not worry too much. We'll monitor the temperature closely. The vents are still fully open. And it's a little breezy out here, but we're in a nice placement. So I'm not too worried about that. So we'll watch the temperature closely. We do want it to maintain right about 225 to 250. So let's go ahead and open it and take a look. Actually, I just opened it, that's why the temperature on the lid dropped. It looked quite good. I just didn't have my camera on. So look at that bark. That looks beautiful. The one below it, you can kind of see perfect bark. So I'm pretty happy with the bark. So we might we'll check the temperature in a bit here, and we might wrap it in the next 3 hours or so. It's starting to look pretty good actually. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Quite happy with the way it's turning out. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up now. And then the next few hours, it'll cook wrapped. Now you can go completely unwrapped if you want, and you get really good burnt ends. But we're gonna wrap it for this specific event. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's the brisket that's been hiding underneath. Also got a very beautiful bark. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one as well. The sheep have come over to say hi. It's about 7:20 p.m. We started this around 7 a.m. I picked out the first brisket and it was it felt so gelatinous and flexible. That's when you kind of know like it's gonna be really good, when the whole thing is like very flexible. You know, the all of the membranes, the collagen, all of that got a chance to really melt in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this off, put it on that tray, take it in, and we're gonna cover it up and wait till tomorrow to cut into it. All right, see you then. All right, moment of truth. We have had this resting for, I'd say, at least 5 hours. I was gonna let it go till the morning, but we're gonna cut it up and see what we have. Oh, look at that. And that right there is the perfect bark right there. So now we're gonna get to cutting it a little bit and see how things are. So you know that brisket is perfectly done if you can hold it from one side. You can bend that easily. You know it's done well. Let's feel this brisket out. Oh, you can see it's coming apart. This thing is cooked. This is well, still moist. Look at that. This is just falling apart. Beautiful. So we'll just go ahead and cut in and see what we got. Overall, very happy with this brisket cut. Very nice. Still pretty moist. Probably should have taken it off at least 30 minutes earlier, but this is probably one of the best briskets I've ever done. Just like, this is one of those that just melts in your mouth. So we're just gonna just keep cutting over here. You can kind of see the fat's completely melted off. It's still moist, juicy, with that just amazing bark. So brisket number 1 has been all cut up. I'm a little bummed. I wish I would have taken it out 30 minutes earlier. Still very moist. Very tender. It'll kind of like melt in your mouth, but I prefer a little bit more chewed my brisket. So very, well, like I said, I wish I would have taken it out 30 to 40 minutes earlier. But overall, it is definitely up there out of the briskets that I've made. So we're gonna go ahead and open our next brisket. This one was on the bottom one. So let's see. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I believe this one was the top one. Yep. That looks just beautiful. Let's go ahead and cut into that. Here we have it. Overall, pretty good. Just a little bummed out that I didn't take it out earlier, and you can kind of tell I rendered a bit too much of the fat marbling in these areas. But overall, we got a pretty nice smoke ring, beautiful bark. I guess you can always definitely continue improving. Very happy with the smoke rings, and here's the finished product.